Hey, you guys, it's me, Jessie. I'm all things food, fitness, and overcoming any mental blocks that keep us from achieving our goals. And today, I wanted to talk about diet culture. So, what exactly is diet culture? From what I've got off the internet, diet culture refers to a common set of trends and norms that may affect those undertaking dieting or monitoring their caloric intake. Why does this matter? This matters because from an early age, I've been very aware of what my body looked like. I remember talking to my mom and her telling me that she sucks in just to make sure that she looks snatched. And I remember from that point on, I started sucking in too. I was between like 6 and 7 when she said that. Now, this is not a dig at my mom because she wasn't saying anything about me needing to do that. She was just saying what she did. But my mom being my mom, I'm going to follow in her footsteps because she is like amazing. You know what I mean? I love my mother. Don't you love yours? Now, here are some trends. Back in the early 1960s is when the body positivity trend started. And by the 2010s, influencers such as Tess Holliday, Ashley Graham, Lizzo, Fergie Tovar pushed a message about how bigger bodies are healthy, how they should be appreciated. Now, as this trend gained popularity, we saw that curvy was in early 2000s skinny was out. Or did it? Now, as we've seen that GLP-1s have came on the rise, it seems that getting skinnier has been easier than ever. Not saying that there weren't some sort of side effects or things that you had to give up. Seems like everybody was losing weight and then somehow bigger bodies got back on the back burner. The problem isn't skinny versus fat. The problem is education. I feel that the biggest problem in America is that they want us to be skinny, but they don't feed us like they want us to be healthy. With fast food joints at every single corner, setting us up for failure. How are we supposed to know what's healthy and nutritious for us? We were never taught about nutrition. At least for me, I wasn't. I thought for the longest time when I was growing up and me and my grandma would eat strawberries, we would dip them in sugar. I thought this was how you were supposed to eat strawberries for years before I realized, oh, I can eat a strawberry without dipping it in sugar. So if that doesn't tell you the problem that most Americans have is learning about what's good for us, what's actually healthy and what's not. Growing up, I was never raised to know how certain foods fuel your body, and I was constantly eating junk food. I didn't necessarily feel the effects because when you're young, you don't feel things until you get a little bit older, and you're wondering, why am I always hurting? Why am I having these issues in my body? Why am I always constantly inflamed? Because these highly processed foods don't agree with our bodies. There have been studies shown with highly processed junk food on how they have no nutritional value whatsoever, no matter how fancy that packaging may look. For me, when I got older, I started realizing how these foods were really affecting my body. In my early 20s, I didn't have the best habits. And on top of eating like junk, I will definitely tell you I was a heavy smoker, heavy drinker. The food that I would eat, I'm sitting here wondering why I had no energy, why I felt just like crap, why was my self-esteem so low? And I realized it really was the food that I was eating and the type of lifestyle I was having. Once I had cut out the junk food, I'm not going to say I cut out all junk food because there's going to be times to where I really want that slice of cake. I really want that pizza and not too much here and there. But Krispy Kreme donut, yes, I will take a Krispy Kreme. I love me a good Krispy Kreme. Okay, let me stop. I had a Krispy Kreme donut last night. It was great. And once I cleaned up the diet and started eating more whole foods, my body started feeling a lot better and stronger. And then I started cutting back on the alcohol. I say all of this because the food that we eat really can either put us in a crappy mood or trigger our anxiety and depressions that we already have, that we don't need it to be triggered anymore, or what life already can trigger for us in general. We need to focus on how to fuel our bodies. If we know how to fuel our bodies, then our bodies will stay at a sustainable weight, a healthy weight, and when you feel good in your body, you're going to do a lot more things and you're not going to probably focus as hard on your body. But with that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. Thanks you guys so much for spending your time with me. Please like, subscribe, and comment. It will mean the world to me. And comment down below what you thought about this video. What did I say that you agreed with? What did I say that you didn't agree with? Any tips and tricks that you have for me to learn? I want to keep this an open dialogue and an open conversation so that we can all learn from each other and just be healthier all together. You guys have a great day. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.